on to the final day of the Cheltenham Festival, the Triumph Hurdle. Willie Mullins ran 10 horses in it last year. Looks like he's going to run 9. Very hard to get away from Team Close Sutton, not winning yet another Triumph Hurdle, Lonzy.
Yeah, you obviously got Proactive, Selma de Vere, both ran really promising races. I know Johnny's very, very keen on Proactive, aren't you, Johnny?
Well, I give it a good chance for sure. I wouldn't say I'm very, very keen, but I give it a good chance.
It's hard to kind of evaluate these juveniles' form at this stage with just one run under their belt. I was there on trials day when the New Lion won, and I punted Maestro Conti for Dan and Harry Skelton. I thought Harry gave him a lovely ride, taught him to race, and he quickened up the hill really nice. I'm a big believer in course and distance form at Cheltenham. In and around at 9 to 1, I think he's got to be a really solid each-way play.
Johnny Dinnen, a lot of money has come from one of Willie Mullins' outsiders, which is as big as 50 to 1, I think, up until a week ago, Mon Crusoe.
Yeah, look, he was possibly going to win a maiden hurdle in Naas. Possibly going to win one too. You know, certainly when he made that mistake. He's into a sharp price now, though, for sure. You couldn't back him now, but I do think Mullins will win this race. I do think those expensive French horses, maybe Maestro Conti probably costs plenty too, but one horse to me that's holding down a lot of, particularly the English form, is One Horse Town. And he yoked that one in Hexham in the middle of June or July or whatever. Shouldn't still be hanging around in these fucking races in the middle of February anyway. And in my opinion, any horse with form tied in with One Horse Town ain't going to win a race like this. Some of these French horses cost 500 and 600 grand. They have to be good horses. And I'd say Proactive and Macho Man are both very smart horses in my eyes. And one of the other ones, maybe Lorca's there, Selma de Vere, it's probably not a Lorca, he was second in Narcissus, or she was second in Narcissus. But you have other ones down the line. But just because Panaris won last year, fellas are looking for Mullins' outside. But I'd say that won't happen again. And I think I'd be going with Proactive to confirm form with Macho Man.
Okay, Martin.
Yeah, I think Manila Study will run well. It'd be more of an each-way play, really. I don't know whether he's good enough to beat the likes of Proactive, Selma Davari, Macho Man, etc. I really don't know. There's not as much evidence in this sort of race as there is in a lot of the others. But Manila Study has put up a big performance at the track. He jumps really well. He stays really well. I think he'll be in the first 3 or 4. It wouldn't be a strong view, but I think he's a reasonable each way bet at 7 or 8 to 1.
Okay, Aidan, have you an opinion in the trial?
I don't have a massive opinion, but I do think Manila Study would be odds on if any of the big 3 or 4 trainers trained him. He's won the trial for this, which works out really well usually. I was thinking in and around 7 to 1. Adam Nicholl knows what he's doing. Doesn't have the reputation of a Willie or Gordon, etc. But I think Manila Study is definitely the value in this race.
Okay, Darragh.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Darragh O'Keefe from Fairy House. You know, I think he won in France. I think Willie bought the second as well out of that. Yeah, he looks very good. I thought he was very impressive on the day. Another one of Willie's that, you know, is probably, I don't know if he'll even run in the race, is a horse, Manila Academy. Won the Academy hurdle in Cork. But I thought he was very, very impressive. And, you know, I know John Allen and him really liked him. I'm not even sure if he did run, but he's about 25 to 1. I think at a big each way price, they always said he was a very good horse, so maybe he's one that, you know, a price that could hit the frame.
Okay, that's the Triumph Hurdle. Now we'll move on to the Albert Bartlett. Johnny Dinnen, the Albert Bartlett has a history of throwing up a big priced winners. Sorry for interrupting the conversation. Do you want me to come back to you?
Sorry. The Albert Bartlett.
Albert Bartlett has a history of throwing up some big price winners. Can you see the same thing happening this year?
I look, this is a wide open race, very open race. It's tend to be won by a raging hot favourite with the likes of Wichita Lineman or Fisher's Cross. But when they bet 7 to 2 and 4 to 1 the field, it's more likely to be won by a 25 to 1 chance. And I could see a whole host of horses having a chance. Look, a really tentative selection. I go with Road Exile, Gordon Elliott. Like, it ran over 2 miles the last day. I'd say it's an out-and-out 3 mile or a real old-fashioned chase. But it needs to improve a lot on that run. But if ever a horse wasn't suited by making the run, and it was that day against Sober, it was jinking and all, doing all sorts of stuff in front. But he has a chance. But it's a race you'd be keeping the stakes at a minimum, though, for sure.
Okay, Darragh, Henry is 2 in it.
Yeah, Henry's 2 in it. 2 good each way chances too. Fruit the Mare. Fruit the Mare has actually only been beaten once, and that was in the Grade 1 in the Ballymore in behind Oz. I saw that, and Willie's saw too though. He won a bumper, he got it taken off him, but he's won a point of points. That was only his second run over hurdles. I'd say he's a big each way chance in this. And there's another horse probably going under the radar as well, King's Bucks. He won a point of points. He was second in a bumper. He's a horse with loads and loads of stamina. He ran in Galway this year and made an hurdle over 2 miles. It would have been too sharp for him with the view to going to Cheltenham in November, because his owner was one over. He actually finished third to no drama this ends. Another stride, he'd have been second, and I'd say another furlong he'd have been. I actually thought he would have nearly rattled him, to be honest. He got beaten in the maiden at Christmas, but they went too slow for him. I think Manel Indo got beaten in the same maiden hurdle and actually came on and won this race at 50-1. So I think there are 2 good each way chances in it.
Which one are you going to ride?
Will all depend on where the ground is, yeah, they'll do a bit of work maybe in the next couple of days. So, but they're two, I think, good each way bets. And I thought Fruit the Mare's running in Naas for his second run over hurdles was good behind I'd sort that in Sartura. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, Martin.
I'll give a mention to a horse at a big price. I know I won't be backing Dr. Steinberg. I just don't. I think he's too keen. I didn't think the race was very good at Leicharstown at the DRF. I don't think it was strong form for the race. So I'd be against him. And obviously it's a race traditionally that has thrown up surprises because it is very different to anything they've run in before in most instances. All I would say is front end of the betting, the Devil You Know did run in a strongly run 3-mile race at Doncaster, and he proved his stamina, which is something that the others haven't necessarily done. And he also had the ability to beat Skylight Hustle over 2 miles, so he must be a fair horse. So the Devil You Know at front end of the market I'd be positive about. And at a big price, Uber Tuber for Ollie Murphy. This is a really talented horse. Should have gone very close to winning it here the last time out. Now he'll be amateur ridden because Ben Susan, his dad, will be riding. He got into a little bit of a muddle at Haydock last time. It should have finished closer. That would be a little bit of a question, that. But the horse has got a lot of ability. So it's around a 40-1 shot against Ebertuzer, and I'd give him a mention for sure.
$1,000,000. Okay, Harvey.
A 25-1 shot who I think is going to outrun his odds is Jalan Delure, who cost 420 grand. Won his first 2 bumpers, and then he was third behind Jasmine Neveu and Romeo Trulio, the Cheltenham bumper. You know, we nip back on that. It's really like last fall. Obviously, he suffered a major setback in training. And when he got caught there 15-8, he was off the track for nearly 2 years. I completely forgive him that. He went to Leopardstown and got touched off, but then had one-leggy spoon race at Naas. I was quite taken by the way that he took that race by the scruff of the neck. I saw him there this morning in Gordon's, and I spoke to him about the horse. If this horse can rekindle his bumper form, and he's being completely underrated by the market, and you know, in a race where we'd have a horse like Stellar Story winning at 50-1, I think this horse has to have a cracking each way chance. I really do think he's a sayer in the making. And I think that bumper back in 2023 was really, really strong, as we see at the fall. I think he's one of the best 25-1 each way shots on the festival.
So some interesting thoughts from our panel on the Albert Bartlett. Aidan, a quick word at you?
Do you know, I hate this race. I think it's, I never like riding in it. If I was an owner, I wouldn't have a horse in it. But you come to these, no.
He's a very positive guy, Aidan Coleman, isn't he?
I usually am, but I just think this race should be on the Tuesday or Wednesday on the other course to give these younger horses a chance.
Hold all that crap. What do you fancy on the back?
I didn't fancy anything, but this is why we come to these evenings. No. I'm going to let Darragh take this over because I am a believer now after speaking to him.
Do you know anything about that Uber Tuber that I mentioned? He's in Ollers. Ben Sutton rides him. Finished second at Haydock last time out.
I'm going to be political and just say one of your last points will be a huge negative for this race.
He's fought.
You are no. I didn't say which of your last points. I didn't say which of your last points, but I said Can we move on there, Darragh?
You're getting a big price.
No. Honestly, I didn't have an opinion. It's not
realistic either. You know, it is
so Darragh asked
definitely
me to
wouldn't
look
wanna
up
be
two
standing
horses
that.
in this race at
won't wanna be
Henry's, and
standing
I
that
think
big
they
money.
should be the opposite
They're
prices.
ducking out of that one.
I just looked up, and Darragh, we're going to move on to Darragh to tell me about him. But King Bucks is absolutely massive value in this race.
That's why I
Looking
think
at the
he's got a
farm,
chance. But he might
massive value. He's going to be one of the outsiders of the week for me. Didn't know anything about him until Darragh just mentioned him there, and he's going to take it over in a second. But I think that King's Bucks at big prices, great chance.
Sorry, actually, Aidan, apologies. He must have been asleep, and Darragh was already speaking about the two horses as well. And just to remind you, Aidan, that he will make his mind up closer to the time when he sees the ground as well.
Yeah, that's what he's been saying all night, but he can't see past. King Bucks is the one.
I thought the way he was talking, he's more siding towards the horse that was third in the Ballymore at Naas. But anyway, let's move swiftly on to the Gold Cup. Blogsy, to me, this is a very open Gold Cup.
You know, as a racing fan, Kevin, as someone who follows the sport and goes racing all around the world, this is a race that gets you excited. And there's times where betting means absolutely nothing. You just want to watch great national hunt chases.
Have a bet in the Gold Cup.
I don't know what, and probably not.
Okay.
And there's plenty of races where I sit at home watching you on the TV and I don't have bets. And I appreciate watching great hurdlers or great chasers. This is a race that should get new fans into the sport. It's so open. It's absolutely unbelievable. I think we've got to start with Envoy Allen. Darragh, you're going to ride him?
Yeah.
Oh, we've Envoy Allen fans here.
Go on, the Envoy Allen.
It's going.
What a horse.
It is going to be his send-off party.
Yeah, well,
It's his final race.
that's I read that the other day, but you know he is actually 12, but you wouldn't think they're riding him out. He is flying. You know, he's in good order. Look, the trip is a bit unknown him, but you know, I think looking back at it last year, I'd say in the Ryanair, he looks like he wanted the trip. I thought he was as good as ever winning the champion chase at Down Royal this year. You know, he had a little break. He's been training for it at a crazy price. I think I could actually see him running well. I think he cantered out the second last and see what happened after that, but he's working really well, and you know, the grounds right now will be a positive for him as well. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Just looking at Johnny's expression there, he just cannot, in his mind, have Envoy Allen winning a Gold Cup.
Actually, look, it'd be good. You'd be going against the great to fancy a 12-year-old in a Gold Cup at the same time. So look, and he has to even get the trip as well on top of that. Look, he probably run okay, but it is difficult to see him winning. Look, saying that it's a really difficult race, and like you wouldn't want to be Einstein to say that at the same time. But any one of 10 horses could have a chance. I have no huge opinion. I just have a gut feeling that Gaelic Warrior won't win. I think Gallopin' the Champs won't win. I think Haiti Calour won't win. And I think I know the way you're thinking won't win. But after that, I think there's another 6 to go, and any one of those maybe could win. But if you force me, I'd go Django Boy, but it'd only be a real. I won't probably have a bet in the race, but it's a real tricky race.
I know you're thinking he's been well supported over the last week or 10 days since he apparently done a good bit of work at Fairyhouse after racing. It is very hard to make a case for him on what we've seen of him on the track this season.
Let's be honest, it is, and like falling out over the last langers in the last in Leopardstown, it is difficult to see him bouncing back to this level. Like, I mean, if he was bouncing back in an ordinary race, you'd say something, but in a knee-deep Gold Cup, it's like, first of all, it'll be the training achievement of all time, and the second thing is, they'll burn down the stand if he wins, won't they? I think they will anyway. They won't be happy about him winning anyway with the running that he's been doing all the year. So look, I think they'll be safe enough. I would the stand. I'd say it'll be all right. He won't win it all when the time comes.
Farrah, what's your take?
If the ground was slow, I think he'd have a chance. I think this will be won by a horse that's having his first go at a Gold Cup. I'd always like one of those rather than a horse that had been there before.
Haiti Calange?
Which one?
Haiti Calange? Rebecca Curtis's?
Haiti Calour.
Yeah, Calour, yeah.
Well, the ground will be against it, would it not? I think Like he had one go at the real top level in the Bedford Chase, and he ran terrible at the same time. Okay, they said he was all wrong, but he was beaten very early in that race. Like he's a good handicapper on softer ground. Even his last run in Newbury, like there was nothing in that race. Like he was a great price at evens in that race, considering he's only about 7 or 8 to win the Gold Cup. I thought he'd struggle myself.
Like the Native River profile, to be fair. Like I won the Denman on Native River before he won the Gold Cup,
Yeah.
and he beat Le Mercury, which was worse form than nearly the last time, you know.
But Native River, I from memory, had won a novice chase at Aintree
Yes, yeah.
in Grade 1 company at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
But he won at the Cheltenham Festival and he won an Irish National. Like, you know, I just
Yeah,
think
well, it's 80 close to winning the national chase in a handicap. Probably going to beat now is the hour.
Native River got beaten in the National Chase.
Which did he? Yeah,
Yeah, by Manila Rocco.
A good JP horse now, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Manila Rocco, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't a handicap.
But like they
one,
were
was it?
Grade 1 horse. Yeah, exactly. Like I just have a feeling, I don't know.
I'm saying in this Gold Cup,
What?
in this Open Gold Cup, I
Yeah,
just,
maybe so.
Yeah.
It'd be like it would be great to see Rebecca win it. Choo-choo.
He's the father of Rebecca. And would you believe? Would you believe he treated Mrs. Dinnen to a night in the Mayfield? Was it last Thursday night to celebrate your wedding anniversary?
Yeah. But no, all jokes aside, look, I think she'll struggle, but if she does win it, she can go up on my shoulders.
You'll be the first one to
She'll go in July after that too. We'll see.
Martin.
Of the king, I mean the King George form to me doesn't look much good really when you've got all 4 or 5 horses finishing in a heap and they've gone no gallop. It's not something you can really rely on. But of those horses, Django Bide, in my opinion, did best. He came from a tough spot, caught a bit wide, staying onto the line. You know, I think he's a horse with a really strong chance at a track that he goes very well at. So I'd be positive about him. I don't think Gaelic Warrior is a Gold Cup horse myself. I think he's just a bit too keen for that type of race on a stiff track. I think Galopin de Champ will run really well. You know, he can still run, in my eyes, to 160, 165, which will be enough to place probably, which makes him a reasonable each way there. And maybe he can still run to 170 plus. We don't know for sure that he can. The two I'd be most positive on are Django Bay from the King George form and Galopin de Champ.
Blogsy, back to you. Sorry, we started off with you. We got a little bit sidetracked. What wins the Gold Cup for you?
Yeah, obviously I came into the race last year with my biggest anti-price bet in a meeting. I think everybody knows the stake that I had, the sword betting slip on Twitter. And it was painful to see Galloping get beat by I Know the Way You're Thinking.
You didn't have a race? Last year by all accounts, did you?
No, it was bad.
Yeah.
Good God, Bar. It was probably the weirdest Cheltenham I can ever remember in the last 15 years. Looking back on Galloping getting beat, though, with what I Know the Way You're Thinking he's done since, it hurts even more. I just can't believe he got beat by that horse on that day. I'd agree with the lads that I was blown away by Django Bay in the 1965 chase at Ascot when he beat Gidgee Park by 10 lengths. And I thought he was slightly unlucky in the King George. He got shuffled back at the wrong times. I'm not saying he's Bobsworth in disguise, but he does remind me of Bobsworth. He's an Arkle winner, which stays really well. He's gritty. He's a fiery horse, and he jumps really well. I think 2 out, he'll be bang there. And I can't see many horses staying up the hill better than him. He's got youth on his side. I'm one of Gallopin's biggest fans. And listen, it was a great shame that he couldn't win the Irish Gold Cup. The roof would have came off. The atmosphere before he ran there in Leopardstown was unbelievable. And we've seen some great Irish performances over the years. And as a racing fan, we need to see great horses winning the big races because that's what captivates a new audience and keeps people enthralled with the sport. But I just think, sadly, he's got to that age now where his slowed is starting to taper off. But I do take Martin's words. You know, he could still run to 165, 160 and run into a second or third. But I don't think he'll have a turn of foot at the air. You think Django Bay is the most light years winner? I think Gate Warrior's a bit too fizzy. I would have rather see him in the Ryanair and Factor File in this race. But I'll give it to Django Bay. But I'll be a spectator and I just want to see a cracking buck.
Nobody seems to be of much of an opinion about the King George. The Julie Box man. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's you.
if you look at the King George, everything went right for the jukebox man. Like literally every step of the way, like it couldn't have gone. If you'd write a race for horse, that was it. You know what I mean? And that's not his fault, obviously. You know, you can only do the thing.
Leave it on the ball and watch those stories.
Yeah. I nearly look at that as a positive in the fact that at least he's been to Cheltenham and got up the hill some bit, if you know what I mean. If he jumped the last that day, he would have won, wouldn't he? I personally don't fancy him, but I just think because of all the first four in the King George, I think it's a massive negative for form of the race that you get that close a finish. But I just think everything went right for him and he only just won. I really do think Galloping the Champs can win. I just kind of side with Haiti Clonge or Clore or whatever his name is. Me and Johnny had a bit of a conversation there about it. And I just think in an Open Gold Cup, he stays, which is what you need. He's won at Cheltenham before. He's my idea of the winner with a bit of value at the same time.
Okay, that's the main championship races. Bringing the curtain down on day 4. Now we get down to the nitty gritty. What is the panel's best bets? Before we come to their best bets, that our sponsors at Novibet will enhance the odds here this evening. Firstly, lads, we want some of your tips from the handicaps throughout the week that we haven't touched on. Our sponsors, Novibets, paying out in the first 7 in each of the handicaps throughout the 4 days of the festival. Who wants to start? Blogsy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Munjif in the Fred Winter. I don't know whether it's called the Fred Winter anymore.
Charles Burns.
Trained by Charles Burns, a 90 rated flat horse. He's £4 better off for Saratoga. He was given a typical quiet ride in that race. I think with the ground drying out, he's going to be one of the quickest horses in that race. I think he's a sterling each way bet at 9-1. In the Sun Racing Plate, I like Rule the Wise, the Gavin Cromwell off of 139. He's owned by the Have No Clue syndicate. I don't know who they are, but I say they do have a clue. Kevin, he was the winner of the Troy Challenge race. He ran a cracking race next time out behind one of Gordon's, who's really well handicapped. He's around 12-1. In the Coral Hurdle, I like Wellington Arch for John O'Neill. There's been a lot of money for this horse, some 40-1 into 16s. He won the Aintree Handicap Hurdle last year, Bicky Kopek the lead. He had a pipe opener behind Tutti Blunty in that fast race at Newbury. Back up from 2 to 2.5. I could see him running a big race. And the final one I'll give you there is Our Dragoon in the Grand Annual for Gavin Cromwell. He's around 20-1. He was third to Jacob's Ladder. He won a good race in St. Stephen's Day at Leopardstown. I think he'll love the drying ground. I think he's the best each way bet of the meeting. Whatever you do, make sure you remember the name Our Dragoon.
Okay, some interesting thoughts. In the handicaps for Blogsy, don't forget Novibets are sponsors, paying out in the first 7 places in all the handicaps throughout the 4 days. Johnny Dinnen.
I think JP is going to win a lot of handicaps. Almost every handicap I look at, I'm drawn towards his horse. I can see the likes of McClory having a chance in the plate, Jaguar in the Ultimate, or maybe Iroko. He's got what other horse? He's got Waterford Whispers and Jericho the Repener. I think Waterford Whispers is a very good chance. Kopek to me in one of the handicap hurdles. Like he could have 5 or 6 favourites in these handicaps, and it looks like he's a lot of horses primed, and they're in a good racing way. I'd expect him to win at least 3 handicaps at this meeting, maybe even 4. I could see him having a chance in almost 6 or 7 of them, to be honest. And he'd definitely win maybe 3 of them. I think he will anyway.
Okay, Martin Dixon, the handicaps that we haven't touched on.
Yeah, to be fair, might be better moving on to Aidan, because most of my Lucky 15 and Naps are in the handicap races. So we'll probably come to them in a few moments' time. But a couple that aren't in sort of the selections we're going to come up to in a minute. I think Manlager has got a definite chance in the Fred Winter, owned by JP, won well at Haydock last time out. She's improving. At a much bigger price, I'd give a mention to Wolf Raya if he gets in. He's about 50s. Sam Drinkwater trains, small yard, it'll be any price you like. Finished 4th behind and finished 5.5 lengths behind Winston Jr., who's about favourite for this race, but he's going to be £11 better off with him. I saw him at Ludlow when he ran there last time out behind a horse called King Al. It was a decent race for Ludlow on a midweek card. Travelled ever so well, didn't quite finish off, but he'd gone a bit too keenly off a steady gallop. he's a very big price if he sneaks in the bottom. As I say, it's about 50 to 1. So they're two in the Fred Winter I'd give a mention to. But yeah, I'll come to the others and the main views in the best bets bit.
Okay, Aidan Coleman, the handicaps. Don't forget, our sponsors, Novi Bet, are paying out the first 7 home in each of the handicaps over the 4 days.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I can't make head nor tail of most of the handicaps because I just can't figure them out really. One I do really like is Edwardstone. I know he's older, but he's an Arkle winner. He's won a Grade 2 2 runs ago. He doesn't have top weight in the Grand Annual. He's about 20 to 1. Will turn up at Cheltenham. He always runs his race. Great each way bet, Edwardstone in the Grand Annual.
Okay, Darragh, some of the other horses that we haven't touched on that you're riding, and something in the handicaps.
I think down Mexico way in the plate is interesting. I think the drying ground in Sudham, he ran in that Grade 1, the Arkle at the Dublin Racing Festival, and got taken off his feet early. Thought he came home quite nicely. Maybe the other two were slowing down or not. But I think he's interesting. What else have we got? Look, Cocktail Davana's favourite for the novice handicap. But more likely he's going for the Brown Advisory. I think Slade Steel is interesting in that at 146. Won a Supreme. Some people say he's disappointing over fences. Maybe disappointing the last day. I don't think he really turned up on the day. But I think he's not off a nice mark in that. Aidan has done a bit of laughing here. The last year, I would mind him anyway. I think he has a chance. He's in good order. He has won a Supreme. I think Dan Skelton, I think he win the Pretemps with Supremely West. I think that's a big chance. And yeah, I thought what Johnny said, Wallaby Whispers and whatever race, maybe the Kimura, I thought had a chance to learn.
Okay, right. We now are going to come to our naps of the week. And of course, our sponsors, Novi Bets, are going to boost the prices of the naps for our panel. And we might just get a lucky 15 off them as well. Blogsy, your nap of the week.
I know
Just a winner.
Whatever you want. If you want to throw out a couple.
Yeah, and listen, you know, I'm a massive fan of Nicky Henderson. And like I said, I think November's the real deal. You can all slag him off and say he doesn't jump this and he doesn't jump that. He'll jump the last and go on and win by a few lengths. Luambu for me, Kevin. Get stuck in. GSI, baby.
Choo-choo. A lucky 15. Have you lucky 15?
Yeah, I gave Dave my lucky 15. Have you got it there? Yeah. Which one? Old Park Star, Bambino Fever. Sober at 16 to 1 for the Turners. I'm not sure if he's confirmed to go there yet. A Royal Ascot winner. He's got a lot of classes at Grand drying out. I'm just really aware of the Grand Annual for Dan Scuffin. But remember, there's another one that I sat back in there as well.
Okay, Johnny Dinnen, your nap of the week. Sorry, Blonsey.
It was Ardagall in the Grand Annual as well. With Gavin Toss.
Okay. Johnny Dinnen, your nap of the meeting and the lucky 15.
My nap is the new line for sure. I'll need a bit of help with the lucky 15. I can't remember what I told you. Yeah, Carrickmore Spruce. Which one? Meet Me by the Sea, yeah. Waterford Whispers in the Kimure. And it's on the line in the Foxhunter's Chase, yeah.
Johnny Dinnen's lucky 15. Martin Dixon, nap of the week and lucky 15.
Mine are all very big prices, all double figures. So this would pay pretty well if it came off anyway. But the nap is One Big Bang, National Hunt Chase, James Owen's horse. Johnny knows him well.
Yeah, I like that house.
Yeah, ran at Doncaster last time out, and they dropped him in over a short trip. And yeah, let's just say he was having his third run anyway to make sure he could get in the festival. But he ran very well at the track back in the autumn when Wade Out beat him, but he wasn't quite ready, I don't think. He swung off the home turn, looked like the winner. Just got a little bit tired on his first run of the season, but he's a proper strong stayer. He's around 12 to 1. Lucky 15, he's in it, as well as Sortudo in the Turners, who I touched on earlier. Relieved of duties of Gordon's in the plate. Looks like they've given him 4 runs to me to make sure he's qualified for an open handicap. He's got a couple of other options, but I think he'll probably go here. I hope he does. I think he's really interesting. He finished second to Alnanam on decent ground over 2 miles at Cheltenham earlier on in the season. They gave him a spin round the track. Jumped fine, never got in the race, but Alnanam was right in the zone at that point of the year. Brought him back off a layoff on heavy ground last time out and he bombed out. But I thought he was interesting in the plate. And then Turn the Lights Down Low, who's 40-1, I think it is, for the Pertemps final. Now, I think that will change quite significantly because Impers Trois is likely to go to the stayers. That'll push a load of horses into the weights. He's a massive anti-post price because he looks as if he's going to be £7 out of the handicap. But if Impers Trois doesn't go there, he'll only be £1 out of the handicap, I think. He's just had a really progressive season. Champagne Chic, who beat him last time at Wincanton, he followed up at Haydock the next time off a higher mark. He's going to be much better off at the weights with him. He's just improved and improved and improved. Freddie Keithley will ride him, the trainer's son. He'll be able to claim his full 7 off, so he'll be off a very, very lightweight. He's an improving horse, and I do think he'll shorten up quite a bit once the final field is through. So that's Turn the Lights Down Low in the Pertemps final.
Okay, very interesting indeed from Martin Dixon. Aidan Coleman.
Best bet is Honesty Policy. Obviously spoke about him earlier. I just think he's great value for the reasons I said. And I can't see past him in the stairs. That's who I'd ride. And then my Lucky 15 is pretty boring, but if it wins, it's not. Old Park Star in the Supreme, Talk the Talk in the Turners, Bambino Fever in the Mares, and then Manila Study in the Triumph.
Okay, Darragh. We're not getting a Lucky 15 off Darragh, and we're going to ask Darragh. We're not going to put him on the spot. That would be unfair. Give us your nap at the meeting, something that you're not riding. Because, to be fair to Darragh, he's not 100% sure with ground and whatever else.
Sure, look, I suppose any of the races, like the Arfel, I suppose, it's probably like to ride Cole pick the boards, I suppose. Just, I think he'd be a good trend to relate. And I think... I thought Supremely West. I think Cafe Winter for tennis, Dan Skelton, these races. It's on 10-4, isn't it? But if you impose it, or if 10-3, yeah. So it will go. But this has caught my eye a couple of times. I think we'll win the Pertemps.
Okay, what are you most looking forward to riding at Cheltenham?
Looking forward to them all. I actually think. We didn't talk about the Mayor's Chase. I think July Flower, if she goes to the Mayor's Chase, a big chance. She's after 3 runs. She was good at Limerick. She was good at Cheltenham. She's not small, but she's a great jumper. I thought she ran well at Christmas. Maybe the ground and trip is a bit tight for her. But I think going back out the trip on a bit nicer ground, it won't be as clip over there, I don't think. And it was maybe a liver stamp for her. I think she's a big player in the Chase.
Good stuff. My nap is Woodall in the Mayor's Hurdle, and the Lucky 15 is Old School Outlaw, Woodall, Panda Boy in the Fox Hunters, and Glen to Glen of Joseph O'Brien's in the Fred Winter. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings to the end to our Irish Sun preview. Sponsored by, of course, Novi Bets. And don't forget, log on, get onto the website, create an account, put a tenner in, €70, free bet automatically, loads of price boosts, loads of different specials throughout the week. And don't forget, the Novi Bet paying out in the first 7 places in each of the handicaps throughout the week. My thanks to all the team here in the Camden who put on a wonderful show, all the staff, all the guys and lads on the sound as well. And our thanks to our panel, Blogsy, Stephen Power, Jeff Stream, Mark Dixon, Aidan Coleman, and to Darragh O'Keefe. We wish Darragh O'Keefe all the best, and let's hope he rides plenty of winners at the Cheltenham Festival next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks to the Sun, thanks to the Irish Sun, thanks to Novi Bets and all the team here at the Camden for putting on a wonderful night. Good night, good luck, and best of luck next week. Hopefully you'll make plenty of money. Hopefully Blogsy will have a good week, because if he doesn't, we won't have him back here next year.